Hello everyone, this is Ejaz Khan and it's our seventh lecture of Strategic Business Leader paper of ACCA. As a standard format, before starting our today's topic, I will just give you a quick recap of what we have studied so far so that we have a connection between our previous lectures and our today's topic. Well, we started this course with an overview of what strategic thinking is and what leadership is, so that we have an idea of what this paper is all about, because its name is Strategic Business Leader. And then we discussed a strategic planning model proposed by Johnson, Scholes, and Whittington, according to which the strategic planning process will have 3 stages. The first stage is the strategic positioning or strategic position analysis. The second stage is the identification of different strategies. And the third is the implementation of the chosen strategy. According to this model, before any strategy can be made for any business, it's very important to analyze a company's strategic position with regards to or with reference to the environment it is operating in. This stage has 2 types of analysis. One is the internal analysis and the other is external analysis. In the internal analysis, we discussed how to analyze the company's strengths and weaknesses, how to identify what the company is good at and what the company is bad at, what gives a company a competitive advantage. And in this particular area, we also discussed the porter value chain analysis. We discussed what is core competency and unique resources, what are the threshold resources and threshold competencies. And in the external analysis part, we discussed the micro level analysis using Porter 5 forces. And we also discussed the macro level analysis using pestle analysis, using Porter diamond, scenario planning. These were all the models that we discussed for both internal and external analysis. Now, why, according to this model, it is important to analyze a company's position both from internal perspective and external perspective? Well, according to this model, an organization, without knowing its strengths and weaknesses, and without knowing what's happening in the environment and what is expected to happen in the environment, can never ever come up with a strategy that can ensure the company's success. Because if a company is not aware of what its strengths are, it can never ever use it effectively. In the same way, if it does not know what its weaknesses are, it won't be able to convert those weaknesses into its strengths. Similarly, since the company is operating in an environment, the changes happening in the environment will have a direct impact on the company's performance. So all the scenarios that the company may come across in the future will have, in some way or the other, an effect on the company's performance. So the company cannot ignore the factors like political factors, economical factors, legal factors, technological transformations. All these will be affecting a company's performance and company's the company's ability to succeed. Therefore, In the planning process, the company must analyze these areas before it can come up with any strategy. So successful strategy can only be formulated once the company has analyzed its internal position and its external environment. So we were done with both internal and external analysis. And then we started the other stage of this model, which was strategic choices. That is, what strategic choices are available for any company that can give company a sustainable growth in the future. So in that particular phase, we discussed Porter generic strategies, and we discussed three types of generic strategies proposed by Porter. One of which was cost leadership, the other was differentiation, and the third was focus strategies. And according to these strategies, or according to Porter, a company must uh, select either of these generic strategies so that it has a clear vision of how to compete in the market. Because any company who does not know how to compete in the market cannot survive in the business. So they must have a very clear vision of how they're going to compete. And we discussed few examples of companies that follow cost leadership, the other companies which follow product differentiation. Like I discussed that the Apple is an example of a company which follows product differentiation. It charges premium prices because it is competing in the market by providing premium features. So we discussed those strategies in detail. And then in our previous lecture, we discussed product portfolio analysis proposed by Boston Consultancy Group, and they named it BCG Matrix. And in that particular model, we discussed how to characterize or how to classify company's product portfolio into 4 different categories. And the factors on the basis of which that classification would be done were the market share and the market growth. And based on those 2 factors, the products can be classified into 4 categories, and those categories were star products, cash cow, question mark, and dog. And why this model was used, the reason or the benefit of using this model is that once a company is able to classify its products into these 4 categories, it will have the right strategy for each of the products. So again, we discussed that part in our previous lecture. Today, we will continue with strategic choices. But before we start our today's topic, I will just want you to ask a question from all of you, and I would like you to answer this question. Let me give you an example. Let's say a company is a chair manufacturer. It manufactures chairs and sells chairs. It is operating in city A of country A. and it wants to grow. And when we say it wants to grow, it wants to increase its trade volume. It wants to increase its sales. So whenever we say growth, we actually mean that the sales growth. So it wants to increase its sales revenue. Just do a quick brainstorming session for 2 minutes and tell me, how can it grow? What do you think, how this company, or what are the ways which this company can use to grow its sales? So just take 2 minutes and then I'll be taking your answers. So I hope you people will be done with the brainstorming session. So just quickly tell me, what are the ways that a company can use to grow its sales? So let me list down all the ways that you people are proposing into one place, and then we'll see how far a company can use these ways. So one is moving into other countries. So by other countries, we can say the company can move towards other markets. Yeah, so other markets means entering new markets. Okay. Okay, producing other products tables. Okay, it means uh, new products. New products. Okay. Now, when we say moving to other products, what do we mean by this? If we say that this company should move to new markets, what does this mean? Well, one of the suggestions coming up is online marketing. How can online marketing increase your existing market share? I mean, you are already in a market, and you will already be doing marketing. So so you'll already be getting enough share in the market. So online marketing, maybe it's already there in the strategy, marketing strategy of the company. So we can't take this point, which is online marketing, because we've nowhere we mentioned in this example that the company is not already doing online marketing. The assumptions that the things that I assumed in this example were that the company is producing and selling chairs, and it's operating in one city of a particular country. So when we say other markets, what do we mean? Should we be entering other new markets with existing products, or should we be entering new markets with new products? So both are possible. We can enter new markets with new products, offering new products. Maybe the market that we are entering has different needs than the needs of the customer in our existing market. So maybe we cannot enter into a new market with existing product. So maybe the needs are different, so we have to come up with a new product. This is one of the possibilities. Or we may enter new markets with existing product. Similarly, we can offer new products in new markets, and we can offer new products in our existing markets. So I hope you people will agree that we can have these ways, either of these ways, to increase our sales. Because if you want to continue with your existing product and you do not want to develop any new product, then the only way of increasing your sales and growing will be to enter new markets. Because you may have exploited the current market. That's why you are looking for new ways of growth. And sometimes we may not want to enter new market and we want to continue with our existing market, because the customers in our existing market will know us better than anyone else. So they may be our old customers, they may be very loyal customers to us because we may have been providing them with better quality products, and they are very much loyal to us. So we want to offer them new products so that we can encash our existing goodwill. Or sometimes we may have to enter new markets with new products. And the reason may be that we don't see any potential in our existing customers to come and buy our new products. Or maybe we don't see them needing the new product. So we may go into a new market and offer them a new product because they may not like our existing product, or they may not need our existing product. So these are the different ways through which a company can grow its business. Now, these all different strategies have been summarized or simplified by the Ansoff's Growth Matrix. If you look at this diagram of Ansoff Growth Matrix, you can clearly see that on the x-axis it has products, on the y-axis it has markets. Now, if a company wants to stay in its existing market, and it wants to continue with its existing product and still wants to grow, because it might feel that it hasn't exploited the market yet. There's still a potential that it sees that it can grab a further market share in the existing market. Then the strategy to do so will be market penetration. That is, offering the product at a lower price, offer promotions, discounts, put a sale on your products, and in that way you can increase your market share of the existing product in the existing market. So one of the strategies will be market penetration. And market penetration is the least riskier strategies for any company. But this needs to be carefully analyzed. The company has to perform a market analysis before it can come up with this market penetration, as there may not be uh, the discounts or the lower price may not go with the image of the company. It may be against the strategy of the company. For example, if the company is offering is continuing product differentiation strategy, then it will be difficult to have a lower pricing strategy in the market. So it needs to be carefully analyzed before this strategy could be implemented. But if the company wants to stay in the existing market, that is, it wants to offer to the same customers, but it wants to grow without doing market penetration, then it can develop new products and offer it to the same customer group that it is already offering any other product. That policy is that strategy will be called product development. So that will be called product development. So if a company wants to stay in its existing market, that is offering to the same customers, but with offering them new product because they don't see any opportunity of increasing the market share of its existing product, so it can offer a new product into this market. This is usually done when a company has a strong brand recognition and the company is capable enough to develop new products. That is, it is spending much on its research and development and has more prospects of coming up with new products. So it can invest into its research and development and develop new products and offer to the same customer group, which heavily recognizes the products, the company's brand. The other way will be if the company wants to offer it to the existing or wants to offer existing product to new customers, that is, enter into new markets. That new market will be a geographical market, or it will be a new market from the gender's perspective. For example, let's say a perfume manufacturer was earlier manufacturing only gents perfumes, and now it is willing to offer its product to female customers as well. So if it makes no changes to these products and offer it to the opposite gender, or it may target a new age group. It may have been targeting its maybe targeting a particular age group with its existing product, and now it wants to offer the same product to a different gender group. So market development basically is offering a new class of customers that could be geographically divided, or any other there may be another way of segmentation. So it's basically offering the same product to a new market segment. So, and the last strategy will be to offer new products to new customers. And that's called diversification. And it's the most riskier strategy. Definitely, when the risk is at the higher side, the returns will also be higher. So if the policy succeeds, then it can be very profitable at the same time, but it will be a very risky policy because you're entering a new market and you may not be known there, and you are offering a new product, and there will be a high risk of the success of the failure of the product because it's a new product. People may like it or people may not like it. So according to Ansoff, there are 4 different strategies for a company to grow. It depends on what the company wants. So this was Ansoff Growth Matrix. Let's now discuss other strategies that can help company grow. So a company can also grow through diversification. Now, when we say diversification in this case, it's not the same diversification that we discussed in the Ansoff matrix. Here, the diversification simply means that the company is actually buying new businesses or investing in new businesses. So it's not the same diversification that we discussed in the Ansoff matrix. So let it be very clear. Now, what is diversification? So basically, there are two types of diversification strategies. One is called related diversification, and the other is unrelated diversification. A related diversification is that the company is, let's say the company is buying its competitor. Buying its competitor. For example, if you are a chair manufacturer and you buy your competitor who's also a chair manufacturer. So it's a related diversification because a company is expanding its operations into the same market. It means it is buying a competitor which is producing the same products. So if the company does it, it will give this company a benefit in the form of economies of the scale. For example, if it buys its competitors, it can merge its marketing department with its existing company. And even if the production facility could be merged, they will also merge the production facility to reduce its costs, fixed costs. So it can actually benefit from economies of the scale. So the point is that related diversification is that the company is expanding by acquiring either competitors or expanding by acquiring its suppliers or expanding by acquiring its customers. So this is called related diversification in some way or the other. On the other side, a company can also have unrelated diversification. The unrelated diversification is that it is buying a company that is offering different products and services. So let me ask you people a question. Can you just give me a quick example of unrelated diversification? Yeah, Lucky Cement, like manufacturing and selling cement and then buying a company which is actually producing paints. So yeah, you can say it's unrelated diversification. Any other example from someone else? No examples? Okay, let me give you examples. Unrelated diversification will be, for example, if uh, if a mobile manufacturer, a cell phone manufacturer, let's say, buys a car manufacturer, This will be unrelated diversification. Yeah, shoe manufacturer buying a furniture manufacturer. Amazon bought Whole Foods. Amazon Whole Foods. I'm not sure whether Amazon bought a Whole Foods. Uh, somewhat is related because Amazon used to. Amazon does offer. Does Amazon offer? I don't know the range of services that Amazon, the range of products that Amazon offer. If its range of products already include foods, then it won't be a unrelated diversification. Samsung cell phones and also makes home appliances. Well, yep, to some extent you can say this, but somehow it's again related because if you are offering electronic appliances, the cell phones um, and any other electronic device will be somehow a related diversification. So, so, uh, so this is an example of unrelated diversification. Now, when we talk about related diversification, there are further two categories of this type of diversification: vertical and horizontal. In the horizontal integration or diversification, the company actually buys its competitor or competitors. In the vertical integration, again, there will be two types of diversification in this area: forward and backward. In the forward one, the company buys its customers. That is the customer to which it is supplying its products. Definitely, it will be a business. I'm not talking about consumers. So it won't be buying human beings. So it will be buying a company which is actually a customer. So, or in the backward diversification or integration, it will actually be buying its supplier. So if you can quickly give me an example of horizontal integration or horizontal diversification. Yep, they both are online application for booking meals, ordering meals. So yep, that's horizontal integration. Any other example for horizontal integration, a company buying its competitor? Yep, I was about to give you this example. Ejaz bought for it. If in case other people don't know, we have two um, um, uh, telecommunication companies here in Pakistan that provide telecommunication services. One is Ejaz, the other is Warid. So the Ejaz, one of the companies, it bought Warid, the other company. So since Ejaz and Warid were competitors, and now they have become a conglomerate, you can call it. So it's a horizontal integration. So okay, quickly give me an example of a forward integration, a company buying its customer. Mercedes-Benz buying Toyota? These are these are competitors. So yeah, if it's, I don't know about this acquisition, but if it has happened, so it's actually horizontal integration. So it's buying a competitor. So I'm just asking about forward integration, a company buying its customer. Okay, let me give you an example. Uh, Microsoft buying Nokia, and Nokia used to get operating systems from Microsoft. So Nokia used to be a customer of Microsoft, and then later on, Microsoft bought Nokia. So it's a horizontal. It's actually a vertical forward vertical integration. So similarly, if a company buys its its suppliers, it would be called backward integration. So what are the benefits of related diversifications? One of the benefits that I just explained was the economies of the scale. When a company does this related diversification, there will be so many activities that it can merge together to spread its costs across a huge number of units, and then it will be having a lower per unit fixed cost. So uh, this is one of the benefits that a company can get from related diversification. The other benefit will be to earn those margins. For example, if you buy your supplier, and let's say you used to buy a product that it used to cost you $20 per unit. So you used to buy this product for $20 per unit, and the supplier used to make this product for $15, and he used to charge you $5 profit margin. So if you have this backward integration and you buy your supplier, then it's going to cost you $15, or maybe lower than that if you get those economies of the scale. Or so it may cost you lower than that, but if you, even if we assume that it is going to cost you $15, you will be able to earn this $5 margin from this diversification. Similarly, if you buy this, if you buy this for $20 and you add $5 of further modification cost, it will cost you 25, and then you add your profit margin of $5 and sell it to your customer for $30, and that customer sells it for $40, and let's say it makes a profit of say a further $5, because let's assume that it also spends $5 and adds a value. So $5 margin. So by forward integration, you can actually earn this $5 profit. So you can earn additional margin by these integrations. You can get benefit from the economies of the scale. You will have more control on the products that you buy. Now it will be totally in your control. You can merge your research and development, or you can use your research and development for developing these products as well, incurring the same level of costs. So there will be so many benefits of forward integration or backward integration. But definitely, the downside of these integrations will be that it will increase your size of business, and you may fail to manage it. You may fail to manage it. So these acquisitions should be made after thorough analysis, and the company has to look at from all the aspects before it can actually go and acquire any of the company. So let's move forward And let's now discuss management orientations. Well, how a company goes for diversification will depend on management's orientation. Uh, and according to Perlmutter, uh, there are three types of orientations that can be shown by the management towards diversification. And these are ethnocentrism, polycentricism, geocentrism, and later on, regiocentrism was added as well by Wind et al. Let's discuss what these orientations are. Well, ethnocentrism. Well, let's say let's say we are talking about a company which is let's say operating in country A, and it wants to enter into a new market or international market, but it does not want to make any modifications whatsoever to its existing product that it offers in the local market. It wants to offer the same product, exactly the same product, to all the international markets, assuming that the same product will be accepted in the same way by all the customers across the globe. This type of orientation is called ethnocentrism. Well, there are benefits of this orientation and there are drawbacks of this orientation as well. Now, my question to all of you is, what drawbacks do you people see of applying this orientation? Can you just tell me the benefits or the drawbacks of this particular policy or orientation? So Thomas is saying people in different places may have different tastes. Yep. So this will be a drawback of this policy or benefits of this policy? Quickly. Yeah, it's a drawback because if you offer the same product in all the markets and if the people have different tastes, they will not accept this product and it may turn out a failure. But there are also benefits of this orientation. That is, you don't have to set up a separate research and development department. You do not have to spend much on your research and development to look at what the local requirements are, or you won't be spending too much on coming up with totally new products. So there is a benefit, and definitely there is a drawback of applying this policy. So it depends on what type of product do you offer. If you're offering a product uh, which is of a standardized nature and people do accept across the globe, which is a very rare thing to happen. But if it is the case that the product is being used, the same product will be used by people across the globe, then you can have this policy. But it will be a very, very rare thing to happen. So this is one of the orientations that a management may have. So then we have polycentricism, the opposite one. Well, the polycentricism is actually, it gives autonomy to its strategic business units operating in different parts of the world, and they give them autonomy to come up with totally a new product, customized product, a product that is purely in accordance with the local taste and local requirements, this is a very expensive strategy to follow. But you can say it may be very effective as well at the same time, because you will be looking at the local factors, the local tastes of the people. So maybe it may give you success in that market as well, but it will be too expensive to operate this policy. So this is polycentricism. Then we have geocentrism and regiocentrism. Now, the only difference between the two strategies or the two orientations is the geographical or the geography. Geocentrism believes that there are commonalities, there are similarities between different countries, and exploiting those similarities or analyzing those similarities, you can come up with a strategy which may have a global, which may have, for example, you may come up with a product which has few features which are global, and then you make few changes to the product to fit into the local requirements. Like, I would like to give you an example of Toyota. If you look at the Toyota cars, you will see similarities in any of the models that it offers in different markets, but there will be some differences as well. The Toyota car offered here in Pakistan, because I've seen the same model cars in Dubai, and I've seen the same model cars of Toyota in Pakistan, and I've seen some similarities in the products offered in these two markets, but I've also seen few differences. Like in Pakistan, they make few changes to suit the local requirements, but in Dubai they do it according to the Dubai market, what the people prefer there in the Dubai market. So under this geocentrism policy, the product is not totally customized. It will have a few common features, and it may have few different features to suit the local requirements. So it's most effective strategy, in fact, where you're also trying to exploit the opportunities in the local markets, and also minimizing your costs at the same time. So it's a cost-effective strategy. Whereas when we talk about regiocentrism, it actually comes up with a regional policy rather than global policies. So it may have a different regional policy. It may have a different policy for one region of the world than the other region of the world. And a region will basically be a collection of countries, a combination of countries. For example, they may have a policy, a different policy for South Asia, and they may have a different policy for Africa, a different policy for Europe, or it may be any other regional segmentation of the markets. And this is called regiocentrism. So there are merits of all these strategies and demerits of all these strategies, but most of the times I've seen that the global companies, the multinational companies, they usually follow geocentrism policy because it's more cost effective and more successful strategy than any other strategy. Okay, as we were discussing growth strategies for a particular business, there's another way of growing or expanding and increasing your sales is franchising. For example, if you have a very strong brand in the form of a school, and you want to expand, at the moment you only have one branch of your school, and you really want to expand, but you don't have enough capital to expand. You don't have capital available to open up new branches, invest in buildings, infrastructure, and you don't have enough capital, working capital for expansion. Then one of the best ways will be to go for franchising. You can give your franchising license to other investors who can use your brand name, you can use your system, and um, give you what we call, you can be partner in that particular branch. You may not be managing that, you may not be investing in that particular branch, but you'll still be enjoying the profits from that branch, because the branch will be using your brand name. So so it's a very a common way of expanding. And as I told you that the reason why companies will go for franchising will be that they may not be willing to uh, uh, expand its uh, operation, uh, either because they don't have enough capital, or maybe because they feel that it will be uh, uh, they may not be able to completely manage those expansions. So they can go for franchising. So it's not something very different. It's a very well known way of doing it. So there are advantages of franchising, there are disadvantages of franchising. So if you can just uh, if you just go through this handout later on, you will find all those advantages and disadvantages. And if you people don't understand any of the points, you can ask, because these are very simple points. So I don't think that you will be having any problems in going through these points. Then we have the other types of strategic alliances, like there may be joint ventures. Uh, a joint venture, you know that when two companies, they join together to carry a particular venture, and the partnership will only continue till the end of that venture. For example, two organizations may involve into a research project, and they can have a joint venture up to the extent of that research project, and the moment that research is over, the partnership will be over, and that's called joint venture. So or there may be cooperations with regards to developing new products. Maybe two companies come together and share the costs and come up with new products and share the development and research and development costs. So so do you people know any example of such type of strategic alliances between two companies, where you see two companies working together, uh, either to develop a new product or for any other thing? I will also give you an example once I get an example from your side as well. Do you people know any example of strategic alliances between two organizations? Excellent. Yep. This is one of the strategic alliances. Yep. SCB and Emirates. I will give you another example of ACCA and Institute of Management Accountants, IMA. They also have strategic alliance with each other. They share I don't know about the recent development, but they used to share their expertise, and they used to work together for to come up with new researches. So they co-conduct researches together. So it's a form of uh, a strategic alliance. And let me give you another example. Um, I think it's currently there as well. Pakistan International Airlines, they had an alliance with Thai Airways. So if you want to go to Thailand or Bangkok from Pakistan, if you go to PIA's website for online reservation. You just book your ticket, and you will be transferred to Thai Airways, and you'll be traveling from Pakistan to Thailand through Thai Airways, even if you book a flight with PIA, Pakistan International Airlines. So this is another form of strategic alliance, and uh, this is very much common in airlines to have these types of strategic alliances to benefit from each other. So why do these companies go for these types of strategic alliances? Number one, they share development costs of a particular technology. The regulatory environment prohibits takeovers. For example, most major airlines in the strategic alliances, because in most countries there are limits to the level of control an outsider can have over an airline. Complementary markets or technology. What does this mean? Now, for example, uh, if you take an example of Samsung and Google, the Samsung cell phone and the Google's Android will be used together. So these are called complementary products. Now, Samsung and Google may have a strategic alliance to modify these two products, the Android and the devices that will be using those that will be using the Android operating system. So they can work together. These two companies can work together to come up with uh, with with a device and operating system that complement each other very well, and give both of them a competitive advantage. Yep, this is another good example of Apple Pay and Mastercard. So strategic alliances will be because of complementary markets and technology. It can be for the basis of learning, that like I told you that IMA and ACCA, they've involved into core research projects, and the basic reason is to learn from the experiences of each other. The alliance itself can generate innovations working together, the two companies sharing their experiences, their knowledge to come up with new technology. So these are the different reasons why different companies would like to get involved into strategic alliances and benefit from these alliances. Now, since we have discussed different strategies, the growth strategies, we've discussed the orientations or management orientations towards diversification strategies. Now, let's discuss factors which should be considered while implementing or accepting a particular strategic choice. Now, these are the three key factors whenever a company is bringing a change, whether it's in the strategy, or whether it's the change in the structure of the organization, or any other change that the company is bringing. These are three important factors that every company must consider before applying any particular strategy. And these are suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. When we talk about suitability, it's actually the strategic logic of the strategy, and it is actually whether a particular strategy fits in the overall organizational structure. Because if you try to bring a strategy that does not fit into organization structure, or it does not fit within the other strategies that the organization is following, then it won't work, or it will rather create problems for the other parts of the organization as well. So the company must consider the suitability of a particular strategy. Like, for example, if a company is trying to move towards online offerings, it wants to offer its products online, but let's say its marketing team is not well equipped, well versed with online marketing strategies. They don't know how to do online marketing. They don't have expertise of digital marketing, or they don't have the capabilities, resources available for digital marketing. Now, in that case, if you come up with a strategy of offering your products online, it may not be successful. So now is the point, it will be the point when you'll have to reconsider. Either you should drop this strategy of offering your products online, or you have to make changes to the other parts of organization that may act as barrier of successful implementation of this new strategy. So the company has to go through analyzing the suitability of any strategy. Then comes the acceptability. So once it passes the suitability criteria, it's not a logical sequence, it's not a chronological sequence. So these all should be looked at the same time. So the other area will be acceptability. Okay, let's say that a particular strategy fits in the organization, and there will be no problems in implementing this strategy as far as the organizational structure is concerned. But what about the stakeholders? Will they accept this new policy? Will they be ready to accept this policy? For example, your customers. Maybe you're operating in a market where people do not have access to uh, to internet, or they don't have easy access to the internet, or they buy your products just because they want to visit your outlets, because they want to come out with their families and visit your outlets and have a dinner with their family after visiting your outlets. And maybe they don't like this idea of selling them online. So customers are one of the types of your stakeholders. There are other stakeholders, the shareholders, the society, the government, and other stakeholders. So you have to look at whether this new strategy will be acceptable to your stakeholders. So suitability is whether the new strategy good enough to fit into your organization. And acceptability is whether the stakeholders will be accepting this new strategy. The third factor is feasibility. Is your organization technically capable of applying this new strategy? Do you have enough financial resources to apply this strategy? Do you have skilled staff? Do you have enough management capability? For example, if you're thinking of offering online products, do you have a well-trained IT team to support this? Do you have well-trained sales staff? To take online orders? So you have to look at your capabilities, competencies, resources before you can actually apply any particular strategy. And this is the feasibility part of implementing any particular strategy.